Picture this, Lahore, 1927. A boy is born in the heart of Punjab. When the subcontinent was still under British rule, the streets echoed with the sound of horse carriages. The aroma of roasted corn filled the air, and the game of cricket was played with tennis balls in narrow alleys. That boy was Fazal Mahmood. He didn't know it then, but destiny had chosen him to carve Pakistan's name in the book of cricketing history. Fazal's father, a schoolteacher, believed in discipline and education, but the young Faz had a different kind of passion. He was mesmerized by the red leather ball. His fingers itched to grip it, his arm longed to swing it, and his heart beat faster every time he imagined dismissing a batsman. Yet, in a world where cricket was considered a game for the privileged, dreams like Fazal's were often laughed at. He would sneak away after school, rolling old tennis balls on rough pitches, practicing his run-up under the scorching Lahore sun. His friends would tease him, saying, "Fazal, do you think you'll ever play against the English giants?" But Fazal never answered. He just smiled, tied his shoelaces tighter, and bowled again. Life wasn't easy. His family didn't have the luxuries to buy him proper cricket gear. Sometimes he bowled barefoot, sometimes with worn-out shoes. The neighbors thought it was a waste of time. But his mother, she would quietly stand at the doorway, watching her son's burning determination. She believed her boy was born for something greater. In the late 1940s, as the winds of independence swept across the subcontinent, Fazal's dream grew bigger. Pakistan was about to be born, and with it came an opportunity: national cricket team. For a young man in Lahore, this wasn't just about cricket. It was about proving to the world that Pakistan, a newborn nation, could compete with giants. But the road was steep. He faced rejection in trials, criticism from seniors, and endless days of self-doubt. Yet, he never gave up. The young boy who once bowled with tennis balls was now perfecting the art of swing, and slowly, people began to notice. The glimmer of greatness was there. The boy from Lahore was preparing to shock the world. This was the beginning of Fazal Mahmood's journey, from dusty streets to cricketing immortality. It was 1952. Pakistan, a nation only 5 years old, was stepping onto the international cricket stage for the very first time. Their debut test match was against India in Delhi, a clash loaded with history, emotion, and pride. For Fazal Mahmood, this wasn't just cricket. This was destiny calling. The world saw Pakistan as underdogs, a team too inexperienced to face the established giants. But Fazal had a fire in his eyes, with his slick hair, glowing confidence, and that magical ability to swing the ball both ways. He was ready to announce Pakistan's arrival, and then came Lucknow, the second test of that historic series. Fazal Mahmood tore through India's batting lineup with figures of 12 wickets in the match. His deadly leg cutters and precise swing baffled even the most skilled Indian batsman. Pakistan won by an innings, and Fazal became a hero overnight. Newspapers across the world carried his name. Pakistan's victory wasn't just a cricketing win, it was a statement. This young nation belonged on the world map of sports. But Fazal wasn't done yet. The 1954 tour of England was waiting, and it would cement his place among legends. The Lord's Test cricket's holiest ground, England, the birthplace of the game, where no Asian team had ever won before. Rain had made the pitch damp, the ball slippery, the conditions treacherous. But for Fazal, it was perfect. He ran in with that graceful stride, ball glistening under the cloudy London sky, and unleashed spell after spell of unplayable swing. England's mighty batting order crumbled. Fazal took 12 wickets in the match, delivering Pakistan's first-ever victory against England on their home soil. The impossible had been achieved. Crowds erupted. Pakistanis in London wept with pride, and newspapers declared Fazal Mahmood as the hero of Lords. For the first time, the cricketing world looked at Pakistan with respect. Fazal had carried an entire nation on his shoulders, proving that dreams, born in the dusty streets of Lahore, could shake the very foundations of cricketing empires. This was Fazal's breakthrough, the moment he transformed from a passionate boy into the man who would forever be remembered as the architect of Pakistan's early cricketing glory. After Lords, Fazal Mahmood was no longer just a cricketer. He was a national symbol, the man who carried Pakistan's pride on foreign soil. Crowds filled stadiums to watch him bowl. Children copied his slick hairstyle, and the name Fazal became synonymous with victory. But his journey was far from over. Through the 1950s, Fazal dominated world cricket. He wasn't the fastest bowler, but he was the smartest. He mastered the art of seam and swing when others only relied on pace. His leg cutters would drift deceptively, tempting batsmen into fatal mistakes. With his dark good looks and piercing eyes, he was Pakistan's first true cricket superstar. One of his most memorable performances came against Australia in Karachi, 1956. The Aussies, known for their aggression and confidence, arrived expecting an easy win. But Fazal had other plans. He ripped through their batting with skill and precision, claiming 13 wickets in the match. Pakistan stunned the cricketing world again, and Fazal's reputation as a giant killer grew stronger. Year after year, he produced magic. Against India, against the West Indies, against England, his consistency was unmatched. He became the first Pakistani to reach 100 Test wickets, a milestone that confirmed his place among cricket's greats. But it wasn't just about numbers. Every time Fazal bowled, he carried the weight of a young nation's dreams. Pakistan was still finding its identity in the 1950s and 60s, and cricket became a way for its people to feel united, proud, and respected. Fazal's spells weren't just sporting feats, they were emotional victories for millions back home. He also became a mentor for the next generation. Young bowlers would watch him closely, studying the grip of his fingers, the angle of his wrist, the calmness of his run-up. To them, Fazal wasn't just a bowler, he was a teacher, a guiding light for Pakistan's cricketing future. By the late 1950s, he had become captain of the Pakistan team. Leading his men with discipline and dignity, he instilled belief in them. Under his leadership, Pakistan fought with heart and spirit, no longer outsiders, but equals in the cricketing fraternity. Yes, Fazal Mahmood had many achievements: 24 5-wicket hauls, victories against cricket's biggest nations, and international fame. But above all, he gave Pakistan something priceless: belief. He proved that a boy from Lahore could rise against the greatest, and that a newborn country could make its mark on the grandest stage. This was Fazal at his peak, the master of swing, the hero of the people, and the man who turned cricket into Pakistan's heartbeat. As the 1960s unfolded, Fazal Mahmood began to slow down. Age was catching up, but his influence on the game remained as powerful as ever. Every time he walked into a stadium, crowds erupted with chants of Fazal. For them, he wasn't just a bowler, he was the man who had given Pakistan its cricketing identity. When he finally retired in 1962, it wasn't the end of his journey, it was the beginning of his legend. With 139 Test wickets, countless match-winning spells, and victories against the best in the world, Fazal left behind a legacy that stretched far beyond statistics. He gave Pakistan its first cricketing footsteps that future giants would follow. Imran Khan, Wasim Akram, Wakar Unisaluvam, in one way or another, walked the path Fazal carved. But his story is more than cricket. It's about resilience, faith, and the courage to dream big. Fazal Mahmood rose from the dusty alleys of Lahore to the grand stage of Lords. From rejection in trials to lifting an entire nation's spirit, his life teaches us that greatness isn't born overnight. It is shaped by sacrifice, struggle, and an unshakable belief in oneself. Even after cricket, Fazal served as a police officer, living a life of discipline and honor. He carried himself with dignity, never letting fame cloud his humility. For the people of Pakistan, he remained a role model, not just for his achievements on the field, but for his integrity of it. Today, when we look back at the roots of Pakistan cricket, one name shines brightest: Fazal Mahmood. He was the spark that lit the flame. He was the architect who built the foundation. And above all, he was the dreamer who turned Pakistan's impossible dream into reality. To every young dreamer holding a cricket ball today, Fazal's message echoes across generations. Never let your beginnings define your limits. Greatness comes to those who believe, who persist, and who refuse to quit. The boy from Lahore proved And, in doing so, he gave Pakistan not just victories but a story that'll be told for centuries.